Oh, yeah. Where is it? Oh, which one? Oh, the bargaining? Yeah. Yeah, I think better than my, I wanted to see. Excited. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But I mean,
Thank you. I'd like to call to order the special meeting of the Recreation and Parks Commission, Tuesday, August 20th, 2024. Roll call.
Commissioner Joseph Harris,
Here.
Commissioner Enrique Ortiz, Commissioner Emily Dreiling, here, Commissioner Michael Jimenez,
here.
Commissioner Arnulfo Navarro.
Present.
Thank you.
Let's have the pledge of allegiance, please. Please stand. Position. Pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'm looking at the community participation forum, and I don't believe we have anything there. So we'll move with the consent calendar, item number 4. The following items are presented for the commission's approval without discussion as a single agenda item in order to expedite the meeting. Should a member of the Recreation and Parks Commission wish to discuss or disapprove an item, it must be dropped from the blanket motion of approval and considered as a separate item. Item A, approve the minutes of the Recreation and Parks Commission regular meeting, July 2nd, 2024. We're looking for a motion of approval, or if you wish to discuss anything.
Can we pull item 7?
Item number 7, yes, we can. Nothing that is part? Yes.
I move we approve the minutes.
That in there? Did you want to discuss that? Item number 7?
Well, we discussed that before we could approve the minutes.
I'm not sure.
A is approval of the minutes only, correct?
Yeah.
We can approve that.
The consent calendar is just to approve the minutes, and then everything else is regular business.
Yeah, and then
So,
we are speaking about Las Mujeres Park in the updates. If you, I don't know
Maybe that's-
what exactly you want.
So
Think
I'm not
about-
sure how that works. So you're saying, yeah, I got it here, but I'm saying that if you're gonna, we're gonna do the consent calendar. You said pull any item, correct?
Yeah, if you want to discuss it.
Previous,
In the motion.
only, there's only A, so we don't have to worry about anything 5 through 15. That's consent calendar is 4 with only A. So you're just consenting to approve the minutes,
of last
From last
meeting.
month.
Yeah,
and then we'll talk about everything else.
We left it out. It's-
okay, that's fine. So we don't have to pull anything.
No.
No,
So I move that we approve the minutes for the recreation part.
We have a motion, looking for a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, have approved, thank you. Go to item number 5 under regular business. Boys and girls monthly updates.
I did not get a monthly update from the Boys and Girls Club, and they have not currently showed up to provide it. I know you guys are gonna ask, but I'm gonna tell you. There was a meeting, that I had, I think it was last week. Yeah, it was last week with the Boys and Girls Club and, Todd, and this will all be ironed out, with an amendment to the contract. So, although I did tell them specifically about this meeting and did ask them to email me the report, there could be the technicality that the amendment isn't done in the contract yet, so maybe that is the reasoning here. But I promise you that at the next meeting, I will have it.
Well, it's not on you, it's on them. I want you to feel like it's on you. I'm just, and we expressed our concern at the last meeting.
And I've taken your concern very seriously. They've heard from me every single time that you've been concerned or shown your concern. And I've taken it as far as making sure that, I spoke with the attorney and the mayor and Todd. And then that turned into a letter to the Boys and Girls Club, which then turned into, lease violations, which then turned into a meeting last week. And from that meeting, we're on to an amendment of the contract. So we should be just about there.
Be here today.
So I will have that for you next month. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you for your time.
Is there any underlining issues going on, like staffing turnover or something that might be leading to this that you're aware of?
No, I don't think there is. I can't say that with 100% certainty, but the person that's supposed to write the report is Josue. Josue is the manager. And up until now, up until last week, he's still the manager.
Okay.
And I gave them a calendar, the same calendar that you all have that shows our meetings, that shows city council meetings. I highlighted them. I re-highlighted the certain part where it says exactly when they need to get the email to me and then when they need to present it. And it's all written out real nice.
Thanks for following up on it. Just like Michael said, it's not on you. This has been our expectation since day one. So I appreciate you taking the concern seriously and, taking our voice back to them, because this is something since we rewrote the agreement of them moving back in, I think that's all that we really wanted was transparency and communication.
Absolutely.
And it's sad we got to the point that there's an amendment, but glad it's been.
Yeah. Totally.
Sounds great. Well, not really great, but sounds great.
We're almost there. I
Yeah.
promise. It'll be positive next month.
That's what item number 6, Jack O'Connell turf project update.
Great. Well, this update's gonna be just a little bit broader than just Jack O'Connell, if that's okay, that would speak to the different grants that have been submitted since the last meeting. Is it okay if I give that update?
Absolutely.
Okay. So since the last meeting that I was in attendance, there's been 3 different grants that have been put in. One is the California Arts in the Park, which would give us a substantial budget in order to grand open Las Mujeres Park and add some really cool art elements to the surrounding area as well, to be defined at a later date on what all that would be, but that was submitted 3rd week of June, if I'm remembering correctly. It was in June, 3rd week of June, I think. But if anyone would like the full package on what was submitted, I will send that to all of you. There was also it was called the California Youth Resource Grant, which is sponsored by the California Natural Resources Office. And that one was submitted as of last week. It was $250,000, which would give us the opportunity to have a Parks and Rec clean air vehicle, a really nice van. Words that usually aren't put together, nice van, but it was really very high end. It's fully electric. It would have the Parks and Rec logo on it. It would be utilized to take youth and what's defined as young transitioning adults, so individuals in our community under 26, out into various nature field trips. So they would be able to learn to surf, horseback ride, go on hikes, go to a lot of different historical landmarks and cultural landmarks in our local community. And then I did write in as well that there would be a stipend included. And so for those that maybe they're like 20 and, if they don't go to work on a Saturday, they'd lose money, an opportunity to receive compensation as well. It was part of that. And that was all submitted as of about a week ago. We should hear if we move to phase 2 in about 3 to 4 months. And then there's phase 3 on that one. So hopefully we'll get some updates soon. And then if anyone remembers RERC, that was about 2 years ago, and a year ago, we did that big planning meeting. They opened up another phase of grant openings for those individuals that were part of that in year 1. And I did put in a $10,000 grant to redo the scoreboard out at Jack O'Connell. That's currently in disarray. I think the gophers have feasted on the electrical wiring and it needs some help. So that one we should be hearing about in the next couple months. But the exciting thing on all of these is I did reach out to all of our local representatives and just talking to them a little bit more about what are we trying to do as a Parks and Rec department, knowing that they have a lot of ties to funding and being able to champion some of our efforts. And I did receive a letter of support back from Carvajal's office and Hart's office, our local city council. Almost everyone signed on as well, and then all of us as well. So thank you for that. And that has been the extent of my writing over the last couple months, but I will continue to write grants as there are opportunities to come up. We're working with a grant company that the city has hired on. And I think it's been really nice because when a grant company is looking at the city, they see numbers, statistics, education rates, income and all that kind of stuff. But when you can write from the inside looking out and actually tell the story of our community, like what is it like to be down at the field on, a Wednesday night without adequate lighting and kind of being able to add all that kind of stuff in, or like seeing another kid that tripped and busted their ankle in a gopher hole, like it builds more momentum than just the numbers. It really gives you the opportunity to tell the story about how, I guess, from my point of view, how I see the community. So I will keep writing and fingers crossed, one of these grants will come through.
Questions, arts in the park, how much? Is that? Do you remember?
Denise, do you remember, was it 50 or 75?
I thought it was 50.
Yeah, $50,000.
And the money for that would go to,
A huge grand opening of Los Mujeres Park. So we would have a band, like a nice headlining band. Like we get some good, bands coming through, but this would be a big band, stage production, and then also an art element somewhere near the park. So not a part of the main park, but potentially if we could get it at the train, the proposal that came to city council previously, or another area in which the city has decision space to say, yes, we want a mural there. But the goal is just to be able to improve art access to the community as part of that. And it's $50,000. And I think we are going to find out sometime in the fall. And it would be almost exactly a year from now. It would be August of 25 is when we would have to spend that money by, and it would align with the grand opening of the park.
excellent. And then the California Research Grant, that's 250,000 annually? Is it just a one-time grant?
So I wrote it for 1 year. So the total performance period would be 15 months from the time that we are awarded. It would take a total of 12 months of the different field trips. Every month we would run a field trip for the under 18 crowd, and then there would be a field trip for the 18 and older. So, still in high school and then graduated from high school or no longer in high school. And then it would include the van. It would include a part-time employee, a contract employee that would be able to help support this. So I did not add one more thing to your plate that we needed to do. Roughly a person, based on the wage that I calculated, it would be a contract employee for 1 year working about 20 to 25 hours per week to help support this. And then there was an element as well. So everything would be paid for. And then an element as well for the youth to be able to kind of give back to the community in some way, to show some leadership development skills, like a park cleanup, or maybe signing like a proclamation or something to help raise awareness of protecting cultural and natural resources in our community.
And the vehicles, that's a lease or is it?
It would be ours to keep.
Oh, cool.
So the only two provisions of it is it had to be clean air vehicle. And I did confirm with the city that we have charging capabilities for the vehicle. And then it would get the Parks and Rec logo on it. And it does have to rep Prop 64, which is the funding people as well. That was part of it, saying we put that on it. And it's to be utilized during the period of the field trips. But after that, it's the city's to keep. And it would include all taxes, licenses, fees, everything. The only cost of the city would be just the cost to charge it up. But I have a picture of it. So if you want to see it, I'll show you guys afterwards.
Nice. Well, thank you for that.
A 9-passenger. It's the most you can drive without needing a CDL.
Well, you need a CDL, but a class 2, isn't it?
I don't, this one with a regular driver's license, you were able to drive. If you go up one more class, you'd have to have your CDL, so. My hope was that it would, anybody could drive it from the city, but that it's written in a way that it's truly Parks and Rec's vehicle.
But when you say CDL, that's California driver's license.
Oh, commercial driver's license,
Oh,
yes.
commercial.
The,
I thought it was California. Okay, I get it.
yeah, so like, not like the semi level, but the, you know,
Yeah.
you could drive a Ford Focus or you could drive this thing, you know, either way, it's small enough to not.
Right, cool, thank you.
Yep, so fingers crossed, we'll be getting some
Yeah.
checks soon, but I was excited that our local representatives were very. Excited about trying to help us, like write letters of support, and I mean, cause I just looked them up online and called and was like, hi, this is Emily from Guadalupe. And the fact they called back and were super responsive, I think is a win that people are taking notice of this.
It's 11th year.
Exactly. Yes, it is an election year, but regardless of the reason anyone called me back, I will be very thankful that they.
Yes.
That they were. So I will keep writing as long as stuff's coming available, but if you guys have any feedback on like, you're going a direction we shouldn't go or different. Just let me know, like, do you guys feel like these are kind of worthwhile efforts at this point?
At this point, any dollar coming in.
Someone could give me $50 and I'd be like,
Yeah.
Especially I'm sorry. No, go ahead. No, I mean, we have grant writers on contract, right? And let's use them, right?
yeah.
And they're, I imagine they're getting a percentage, or is that how that works? You know, or that's with the city?
The city, I believe, has paid them already. None of the grants that we've got written, are them, receiving it, like it's not built into the administrative costs, but how it works right now is on a monthly basis, Todd gets a grant report that says, from the grant company that says, here's all the grants that are available. And then, one of the people that he sends it to is me, and I look through it and I'm like, okay, I think I could write for this one. I think I could write for that one. And then usually I end up doing probably about 95% of the actual writing. And then the grant company, they're more of like the advisors going, okay, you wrote a lot about this. Why don't you add a little bit more about that? And then they have been helpful in navigating like the submission process and things. So that's kind of where our roles have been so far. But you know, we'll continue to expand. If there's more than what I can keep up with, I'm sure they'd be. I don't know exactly what we've paid for as to how much support they're gonna give.
They're gonna pay you.
I don't need any money. I cannot take money, but I don't mind doing it because I think I can actually tell the story of what we need and why we need it. Just because I live here, I'm doing all the stuff with the kids and stuff. And so it's nice to have someone that's really has that technical eye, and then someone that can just write from the perspective of like why this is so important to the city. So the relationship we have with the grant company, I think it's really positive right now. But I don't know, Anise, you've been on all the email traffic. When you were gone, I was like, she's gonna come back and have 5,000 emails.
Don't worry, when I was gone on vacation, I was still working every night. I saw your email.
Okay, do you feel like things are going pretty well with the grant company, like how we have things working so far?
It seems like it's doing better now, with your new rep. I feel like it's going smoother, and the response time was like right away. Like,
Yeah.
there were tons of emails in my inbox every day, but I was keeping track of what you said, what she said, and kind of, keeping the story together. So I knew if I needed to jump in or if you guys had it handled. So it seemed like it was going well from my perspective.
Oh, good, and we're grateful to have you, Emily.
Absolutely. We'll keep writing until someone says yes with money. My goal is to make that a turf field one day.
Yes.
So that's what the whole picture is.
If you ever need another set of eyes, you can always run it by me and I'll.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I think that's where the big things with these grants is, some of these cities have like staffs of like 15 people writing and designing all their marketing that has to go in and doing their photography and everything. And so Right now, I'm kind of the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. I'm doing the like arts, the writing, and then and one of Enrique's friends actually did a bunch of drone footage for us to help submit too. So a lot of it's just local citizens wanting to help out. So I will definitely take you up on that on the next one. We've done a lot for the kids. My next thing I want to do is for seniors, like writing something for senior enrichment for our community.
That would be good. I must see you right like that. The seniors up here. I think 50%.
50% of the commission. Yeah, that's my next one. Seeing what the seniors want. So those are all the grant updates. One of these days, I'm gonna come in and say, we're rich, or at least have some of these funded.
Check in the mail.
Yes, but we should be hearing from the RERC at least within the next month or two. And then after that, we'll find out for the California Natural Resources phase 1, if we move to phase 2, probably within the next 3 to 4 months. And same thing with California Arts. And then we really got to start talking about what are we gonna do with the arts. I'm looking at you.
I'm excited. Thank you so much for submitting all these. These are so great. I think it's just awesome. All like yeah, the possibilities to go. We live in California, like one of the most beautiful areas in the world, and it's so unfortunate. I feel like kids don't have the opportunity to travel up and down this coast.
Yeah,
There's so much to see, even just slightly up the coast, slightly down the coast. So it's great. Thank you.
fingers crossed, we'll hear soon. So that's all I have on the grant front, but hopefully we'll have updates soon.
Thank you, Emily. Number 7. Welcome ahead park update.
Yeah, so due to it being August and several of us taking our vacation time, the meeting got moved to Thursday. So on Thursday, I will have the update that I would have normally had by now. I haven't heard from Todd or anybody else that anything has changed drastically from the last time. But as soon as I have that meeting, on Thursday, I will have a better idea.
Thank you. Go to item number 8, movie nights.
Yeah, so this month's movie night. It's gonna be super exciting. It's gonna be on August 30th, 6 p.m. Leroy Park, inside of the community center. It'll be toasty warm. This month we have the Guadalupe cheer squad coming out. They're doing a pre-movie performance for us. And they're also going to be doing the snack bar as a fundraiser. I wanted to try to incorporate some fundraising when possible, or when people are up for it. So I reached out to them and they said that they would go ahead and do the concession stand. So I think it's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a movie. I'm looking at the poll right now that I put on Instagram, and it was in between Hotel Transylvania 3, Willy Wonka, the new one, the Garfield movie, the new one, or Despicable Me 4. And as of right now, we have 57% for Despicable Me 4. So I think that the poll has one more hour. Yeah, actually, most of the time it's parents. But I'll be completely honest, if they're anything like I am, like I know what my kids want to watch, and that's what I would vote for. Hopefully that's what they're doing. I'm hoping. The other thing I'm always hoping for too is that the people that vote are actually coming. Because if you're gonna vote for a movie, vote because you're coming. If you're not gonna come, save your vote for next time because, you're not gonna be watching it. But anyways, I'm super excited for the movie night. Sounds like we're gonna have a big crowd, Emily. So yeah, should be fun. We have another movie night coming up in September. It's on the 27th. I believe it's the 27th. And then I think I'm gonna keep doing it through the end of the year because we have the holidays coming up, and that's always fun. Who doesn't want to watch a spooky movie in October, and then maybe something cute and cuddly and warm in November to have that Thanksgiving vibe. And then of course we can't miss Christmas because there's amazing Christmas movies. I feel like I could have like a movie night every night in Christmas during December. To like not miss one of those great movies. But yeah, we keep doing it. I feel like we're getting that 40 to 50 person range every time. With the exception of when there's like something crazy going on, like during the fair, obviously my attendance went lower. It's a Friday night, everyone's going to the fair. But other than that, you know, people are enjoying it and, why not?
That's good to hear.
We will continue to promote. You can see Guadalupe's finest talent, 45 Bulldog cheerleaders, doing a few headliners like Who Rocks the House and Let's Go Bulldogs. And yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna have a full house.
and we're advertising with football too. And so that, and they have, altogether, I think we have about 125 this year. And the parents, we have a lot of parents signed up, and I asked everyone, if you would like to donate a snack, great. If you want to donate by just sharing on Instagram, it would be appreciated. So hopefully it'll be some new faces. Thank you for the opportunity. Cheer is very expensive and we need fundraising.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that goes to any group in the community, if you're listening, and you do have a youth program and you need to do some fundraising, please reach out to me. I can always build it into one of my events. I always have vendors at all my events, so people have refreshments. But you could be that vendor, as long as the food is sealed and packaged. We don't need a health department certificate or any sort of you know, what am I saying? Paperwork. I can't think of the exact word at the moment, but anyways, you don't need any of that fancy stuff. So if everything is completely sealed and packaged straight from the store, kind of an idea, if it's drink. They can be cold in a cooler, but as long as they're shelf stable, it's fine. So there's lots of opportunities to do fundraising, and I would love to try to help the youth groups as much as possible.
Thank you. Any more questions or comments? If not, we'll go to number 9, last Kingo presentation.
So this feels like it was forever ago, and I did do a double take. I was like, should this be on this? But yeah, I guess it was in July. July just seems a really long time ago. So it was July, it was July 14th. I did not attend that day. I was caught up with other things, but I heard that there were a total of 41 people for my building attendant. Presentation went really well. The presenter said that that was either the highest or one of the highest attended presentations that he's done. He was doing them up and down California. So he was happy, so we were happy. Nice. Did any of you happen to attend it or hear about it?
Are you talking about the individual that came in and speak about the?
At the Vets Hall? Yeah. They spoke
Yeah.
about the Japanese American disappearing neighborhoods.
Right, and wanted badly to attend, but I was out of town.
Oh.
And I heard it really good.
That's good. Yeah, we love bringing unique things to town like that, so it was fun partnering with that group to put it on.
Especially when it hits home. There's a lot of history.
Absolutely.
Number 10, poetry grant. Yeah.
I'll go ahead and hand this one off to Arnold.
This Friday, we're having our August edition of poetry. 6:30 at our Vets Hall. We're gonna have complimentary coffee and pan dulce. And yeah, all forms of poetry are welcome. Even if there's any songwriters out there. Yeah, anything flies, really. If you have the confidence to go up there and say it in a mic, we're all ears. Also, we have one coming up in September, but September my employment through the grant I'm employed through currently is ending. So after September, the poetry jams will now become more of like a Parks and Rec kind of deal. So yeah, but I feel like it'd be still good to continue just to for the community.
Are there any other grants out there that we could hit?
I gotta start looking for them now.
Or I know you're having collaboration with the community changers.
The community changers are a group of community members, that are kind of housed under the FSA, Little Hospital Park. We collaborate with them, and they're kind of like a big tie-in through the grant, to kind of facilitate and different, projects.
I know this is coming to this community, there's so many different groups out there that are doing a lot of great things. It'd be great someday to bring everybody together, maybe might be impossible, but bringing everybody to the table to brainstorm and talk about this that we're doing and they're doing. And maybe get some feedback.
I thought I heard at one point there was like some nonprofit meeting that happened. It's been years since I heard that's happened. I don't know if that actually was true or not, or someone just told me that, but be cool if we could get back to the place where maybe informally, just have everyone come together so you know who's who in the community.
Give a brief presentation as to what they do, because there's, like I said, there's so many out there that there's resources that we may not do. You probably could have been. There's tips and things out there.
And that was such an eye-opening for me, just like it being involved with this, grant and this organization. I had no idea FSA or Little Hospital Park or community change prior to. And since then, just, seeing all the great work that they do, I was like, oh my gosh, like, so it's, I guess just the more events we have, the more involvement. That's a tough thing, is like, how do you get people involved?
Well, once you have food and drink,
Snacks.
they'll come to the table, but, and then also, when you're looking at funding, when people's spirits perk up, especially nonprofits. Maybe it's an opportunity for some funding. Maybe we can collaborate with this organization or that organization, we'll have they're the same focus. And
For the California Arts Grant, we had to sign on a nonprofit to work with us. And FSA was the partnering organization for that one.
maybe someday talk about it and maybe we get it together.
Yeah, be nice.
Can we put that on in for future agenda item? Are we keep it going,
I'd like to talk about it.
commissioners? Can we put that on a future agenda item?
I don't even know if that's within our purview and Parks and Recs, but
Well, yeah, if you collaborate with all the activities that are going on there, that we should all be able to know what's going on at the same time. Probably a lot of people are affiliated with this group and didn't know they were, oh, well, I'm with too, and we probably work together on a lot of things.
Especially as we are trying to get a lot more money coming in for different programming, it would be nice to leverage existing people that already have longstanding relations with our community members and not duplicate any efforts. So I think it would be nice, but make it where it's very not a huge burden of planning, but just where we can bring everyone together in a sustainable way. We'll talk.
I have that as a note to put on the next agenda meeting.
Thank you. Item number 11, the color run.
The color run, with a smile on my face. So the color run was held on July 27th, right at the end of last month at Jack O'Connell. It was a huge success. We had 169 runners. We had over 50 people there just cheering their friends and family on that weren't running. Tons of volunteers, sponsors, a lot of hard work, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but it was all worth it. We got a 3/4 of a page spread in the Santa Maria Times. Lots of pictures. Yep.
Not even on the back page. We were middle spread.
Yeah, we were middle spread. It was a good time. Joe, as always, was there doing his thing. He had our rec table taken care of, and then he took on the yellow color station. Whitney sold every single one of the shirts that I had printed, and she did an amazing job with that.
so good, I bought 5 ahead of time.
Yeah, and that's why I gave people to buy, option to buy shirts ahead of time, because they were only $5, which is quite a deal. They will have to go up next year, by the way, because you know, I can't get that amazing deal every single time. It was kind of a one-time, one-off thing. Even though $10 isn't that bad for a shirt either, which is probably what it'll be next year. And we had city staff come out and help. We had the maintenance team do an amazing job helping me get certain things trimmed and the track ready to go. I had my kids out there at 7 o'clock in the morning, flagging 400 flags in a field. We had our building attendant come out and help. We had Esther, our facility coordinator, come out and help. We had Josue from, he does code enforcement. He came out and he did a color, I think he did the blue station. We had Christina Hernandez and her husband and kids come out, and they did 2 color stations. They're from city council, or she's from city council. Who else? We had Guadalupe hardware store helped me with all the flagging supplies, stakes, things like that. They donated all of that. We had Kelly the Bear paid for all the free hot dog meals for all the runners. We had Coast photo booth. They came out and did a very awesome like selfie station with a custom border on it. We had Taylor Farms, who actually helped sponsor that photo booth, even though I'm going to say they're also a sponsor because they lowered the cost on me. And then on top of that, I had Taylor Farms cover it. So that worked out really well. Great community involvement. And then of course, Sylvester's, they gave me a great deal on the shirts. So lots of sponsorship, lots of people working together, and I'm hoping that I mentioned everyone's name, but everyone was awesome. Everyone was super helpful. Definitely trying to grow that volunteer group, because it would have been great to not just have 4 people out there at 7 o'clock in the morning flagging and doing all that stuff. There's only so much you can do the day before, because you don't want it ripped down by someone being excited to play with it. So you have to do it the day of, and it's very labor intensive. So yeah, that's some of my takeaways, is just pushing to somehow get more volunteers. Tried this year. We had the Google form, and I was putting it out there and everything. I had a couple of people just not come through that signed up, and then the people that came through, obviously it was huge to have their help, but just more, maybe I can get like a youth group or something, like a sports group that maybe wants to put in some volunteer hours. You know, it's like if you could just have 20 people doing it all at one time, we could bang it out in like, 2 hours instead of 5. So yeah, so that's my only takeaway there that I would love to work on for next year. Otherwise, I think everything went great. I got good feedback about the route. They liked the route this year better than last year, with less zigzagging through the field. And going the way we went, I got told that they preferred running in the wind that way instead of the other way. I didn't run, so I'm not sure, but it worked out. I think we had plenty of chalk. We had some chalk left over, so that was good. So lots of little learning moments for me. I haven't put a color run on before, but I think it was really successful, and I really enjoyed it. And I thank everyone that supported us, and everyone that volunteered, and everyone that just gave it their all. So thank you. Joe, if you want to say any words, or Whitney, if you want to say any words since you were there.
Oh, I concur with everything you say.
Oh, okay.
I just had a couple of questions. Now, the color run, I know what it is. I've seen them before. Usually they're for some type of charity or some type of fundraising activity. This has nothing to do with that, correct?
No, and maybe I think people use it for fundraising just because it's a really fun thing and you can get a lot of people to come out. But I don't know if you guys have noticed as parents, they do it a lot at schools now. It's a fun thing now. It's like a fun activity. So there doesn't have to be so much that connection of a huge organized event or something further behind it, but it is used that way because who doesn't want to go run and get color on them instead of just running? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not suggesting that it has to be.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
The other thing though is that I know that you mentioned like, a couple organizations that donated some stuff, particularly like the place over here, the hardware store.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Do they, when they donate, do you give them as a donation, you give, because we're a 50C3, the city has the 50C3 status now that you can give them a write-off. And
Yeah, but,
I'm just saying, and not
Yeah.
now, but in the future, is that something that you might be able to utilize? And maybe talk to Todd about and see if that's something that's even feasible, but I
Yeah.
think it's worth exploring, because I think then you might have people more inclined to do it and donate more than what you need.
yeah, I can talk to Todd. In this particular situation, everyone donated what I needed, if not more. So that was great. I mean, if anything, they were just like, tell me what else you need, kind of a thing.
But I'm thinking like t-shirts, like if you could keep the cost down, and say, hey, if you donate, then you get a write-off for this,
Right. And I mean, so the people that did donate goods, that weren't completely free, they gave it to me at cost. Like, all I was doing is paying the same cost they were already paying. It wasn't time, labor, or any additional materials. So I think for the shirts, I literally just paid for like a white shirt, a physical shirt. It wasn't even the printing. Hannah always charged $10. That's the reasonable amount to at least charge $10. That's what pays the bill. In this particular situation, I can look into it with Todd and see if that's something that the rec department can use, because I don't know a ton about it, but I thought it was made for the theater and all of that.
Yeah. I sit on the committee, so I know that's what we're focused on right now.
Oh, okay,
But it's for citywide things, and
gotcha.
it's a good idea, even if, anybody that wants to donate to the city at any rate, whether it's cash or goods, can do so. And they could even have it earmarked. I want this earmarked for the park. Activity.
Gotcha.
So, that's something that you can use, even if you're like recruiting, like what you said, help maybe a group of kids that say, hey, you know what? You volunteer, we're gonna have a pizza party after or something, some incentive aside from just showing up, you might get a better response. I don't know, kids love to eat pizza.
That's true. Well, if they would have showed up that day, all volunteers got free hot dogs, and I think people got 2 to 3 hot dogs a piece, plus chips and water, so
Wow.
they were gonna get well fed if they showed up.
Yeah.
The ones that did show up did get well fed.
It did seem too, based on some of the pictures, just knowing a lot of the kids and parents in the community, that there was a lot of people from outside the area that came.
How many times did I say that?
There were a lot. I had,
I know,
Yeah.
like, I think that's really nice to get people out here to see, like, the perception that they may have of the community. The more events that we have like this drives, hopefully they stay and eat or buy gas or do something that can help generate revenue for the downtown area. But that's one thing when I was looking through the pictures, I was like, oh, there's a lot of people I don't recognize.
yeah, so, I would say about 60% of the people were from Santa Maria.
Oh, wow.
I would say Guadalupe maybe had 10 to 12% of the people. The rest were coming from 5 cities. I had people coming from Las Vegas. I had people from Los Angeles and San Francisco. I'm not saying that they made a specific trip here just for that, but I am saying that when they filled out the form, their address was from there, so they were incorporating it into their time here. If they knew someone that was going or what have you, I still think it's cool that we got people from so far away. We also had people from San Diego. So yes, the reason why you didn't recognize a ton of people is because I would say the percentage was, again, like probably 10 or 12% from Guadalupe and a ton from Santa Maria. When I first started getting the forms in, it was almost like 80% Santa Maria. For the longest time, it was just like Santa Maria was like going, like it would be like 1 o'clock in the morning and I was sleeping and my phone would start dinging and it was all these people like sending in forms. I had to get to the point where I had to mute that part of my phone because it was like they just kept coming and it kept coming. And I was gonna be happy with like 100 people, And it just kept on going and going and going, and we actually had 180 people sign up and 169 showed up,
That's good turnout.
Good.
which is
I
pretty
know.
incredible.
My daughter and I, we've done a few of the color runs through when it was like the company that used to come and do it at the Elks Ground and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was so expensive, you know, it wasn't a lot for two people. I mean, it was manageable, but if you have a larger number of kids that wanted to run, I mean, it was up over like $50 a participant,
And
so.
I'll tell you why, because the chalk that I purchased for that color run was $800. So the chalk alone is what does it. You know, it's not the shirts, it's not any of the other stuff, but the chalk is expensive. Now, I did buy 125 pounds worth of chalk because the website describes that you should have about a pound of chalk per person that runs. Because you don't want it to be like wimpy where they leave and they like have just like a little color on their shirt, which is what's gonna happen. You also have to consider your weather in your area, the wind factor. Guadalupe is extremely windy, so we were gonna lose a ton of chalk just to the wind as you threw it. I only bought 125 pounds, which technically should have only been 125 people. And it did work for the 169. So if I did do it again next year, I would go ahead and go with the 125 again. But that is where the bulk of the money comes in, is that. So when people charge for the color runs and they're charging you 20-30 bucks, that, I mean, you should be thankful.
Yeah. No,
Even though it
definitely
seems
know.
pricey,
I
but
think that it's expensive, but I'm
Yeah.
glad that like the people that wanna do it were able to come out and do it
Absolutely.
for their larger families and not have to spend a ton.
Yeah.
And I mean, it looked like you had plenty of chalk. I saw the front page news spread
oh
and
yeah,
everyone looked awesome, so.
yeah, it was a good time.
Just don't, sorry, I'm just a little concerned about something that you mentioned, that most of the kids were from out of the area. Is there any way that you could prioritize kids here first, give them first shot, you know? and-
There wasn't a list of how many people could or could not come. I was just gonna keep on taking them. I even said that you could show up the day of. So in no way or shape was I prioritizing anybody, like, if you signed up, cool, and if you didn't sign up, that's fine too. So
Everybody put-
unfortunately, I've marketed in every way I possibly can, and trust me, Guadalupe gets more love than anywhere else.
No, I'm sure they do, I just.
And I push and I push and I push and I push and I go out and I put flyers out and I hand them physically to people. I bought a little box so that people can walk away with the flyers in front of my office.
I wore a t-shirt.
You know.
Football and basketball advertisement.
Walking.
Yeah, I literally, you can only do so much, and if
No,
the
I'm not-
community
I'm
doesn't
not
show up.
going there, though. That's. Getting there, that, you know, we have minimal resources here. And to prioritize our kids first and then say, okay, now we're gonna open it to the general public. I mean, you know, yeah, you're doing a great job in advertising, but man, I don't know, maybe I'm just being
I think
exclusive, and I don't know, I don't like being exclusive, but at the same time, you know, I wanna.
Right, I guess in this particular instance, how could I have done it differently? If it was open and I could have taken, I mean, if 300 people signed up, I would have taken all 300.
I don't know how.
So-
I don't have an answer. for
Yeah, so
I
it's not a matter of limiting the amounts of people that could come. I mean, they could have just kept coming. Even the hot dogs, I upped it to 200 free hot dogs at the last moment. Just to make sure I had enough and everyone had one or two, you
Or
know,
maybe, or you can make
So-
it free to all Guadalupe kids and then maybe charge them $10 piece or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing this out.
Right. Well, because we have the money in the budget, When-
It'll be free.
yeah, when the city council spoke about the $2 movie night that citizen came and was against. A conversation got had afterwards between city council and Todd and stuff, and so they added $10,000 more to the recreation budget. The way I look at that, because it doesn't just pay for events, it pays for a whole ton of stuff behind the scenes, including gas for the vehicles and my part of the park stuff versus the maintenance stuff. I try to just look at it as a simple, like, okay, I have $1,000 a month. I don't always spend $1,000, but in my brain, it's like, okay, I know I won't go over budget if I stay 1,000 or below. So for that particular month, I didn't have any other events that were high costing. events.
So it wasn't
and
concerned, I mean.
It wasn't a concern money wise, and not only that, but I just feel like, the community can show up if they want to. I mean, they weren't limited. I have taken all restrictions away. There's no monetary restrictions at all whatsoever on any event I put on. There might be a couple coming up where I have a restriction on amount of children I can handle just because there's one of me and I can only do so much with smaller events. Like I can only handle that many children at a time. But other than that, it's always been a free for all. Everyone can come. I don't limit, I just keep on saying, just come, just come. And even when they don't register when they're supposed to, I still say, yeah, you can show up if they ask me. So at this point, I would say it would be awesome to just see Guadalupe show up for Guadalupe. So I'll leave it at that. And I hope that as you guys speak with people in the community, because you are affluent and people do notice you and recognize your faces, is tell them, come to the events. Follow the recreation department on Instagram and Facebook.
I tell them all the time.
Yeah.
Come to the stuff.
And the reminders go out like crazy. If there's an event, let's say next week, you're gonna get 3 reminders before the event happens. So you can't even say I forgot. As long as you check your social media like once every couple of days, you're gonna see me just throwing it at you and like, come, don't forget 6 o'clock, don't forget, come, like, so it's not for lack of trying.
I do think there's a lot of people that live in Santa Maria that have connections to Guadalupe, so maybe they grew up here, but because
They
of
have moved,
housing,
yeah.
they've had to move away, but they still really enjoy coming out to events and stuff.
I have heard that often. Like my parents live in Guadalupe. I grew up in Guadalupe. I now live in Santa Maria.
Yeah, we have quite a few kids through different sports that they still like, grandparents still live here and stuff, but I think a lot of it's just gonna be the culture shift of getting people to be more proactive in planning their entertainment, I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, totally, like, if you don't plan and you really, really want to do something and you reach out to me, like, I will make it work. With the exception of softball and things like that, where there's so much more that goes into it. I mean, all the events, like if people say, hey, I didn't sign up, but can I come tomorrow? Sure, come. Like, I don't say no or tell them that they can't come. So yeah.
I think it's just creating that buzz too, like the social media, because we've only had a social media account. Has it been 2 years or 3 years? It hasn't been very long. And just being able to like have people out there sharing their photos and like creating that like momentum.
Right.
Has been very new that we've actually had people talking about events they've done that were Parks and Rec sponsored in the community. And I think it's just going to take time to kind of continue to grow. But thinking, where we were at with like the first time they did the Polar Express movie.
Right.
And I think you were there, Joe, weren't you? There was like 1 family and 5 people. And then now to hear like, hey, we're pretty consistently getting 40 to 50. It's nice to see it's grown in a really short period of time, but it's still manageable.
Yes. And since March, I was tracking how just on Instagram, and it's almost completely equal on Facebook. How many followers there were when I started in March. I took a screenshot of it so I wouldn't forget, and how many I have now. It's a little over 100, which, in the scheme of things sounds kind of pathetic because we have like 8,000 people in the town. But right. But I mean, trying to get the parents, of course, to follow for the most part. It's the parents that you're trying to get, because if you can get the parents to see the information, then they'll pass it on, or they're the ones driving. But we've gone up 100 and something followers. I know at every event, Joe's there with the candy bowl and we're like, hey, you want some candies? Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, exactly. And most of them do already, and that's why they're at the event. But we always get those new ones. I mean, after every event, I have a couple sprinkle in. I'm always telling people about it as well. So, I think that's just a huge piece, because that's a way that I can get to so many people. I can put the flyers out and everything, but it doesn't mean that someone's gonna go to that, go to Main Street and walk up and see it. But there's the marquee and there's bulletins. I actually had the maintenance install bulletins at both parks.
They look
So,
good by
yeah.
the softball fields.
Yeah,
there.
so the flyers are up there and I'm constantly updating them and making sure. So we're spreading a little bit more. My next step is I am gonna ask the maintenance, we've already talked about it, but have them make frames for a set size banner. And have one, have like the, let's say the 4x4 stuck in the ground, ready to go. And when I have event that's banner worthy, because banners are expensive, so I'm not gonna make one for every single little event. But have the frame ready to go where I can zip tie it onto the frame, and then they have a mechanism of putting it on the 4x4s. And it's gonna be at both ends of town. That way,
Nice.
it's just one more marketing, it's like, okay, you don't look at Instagram, fine. You don't stare up at the marquee because you see too many messages up there, fine. Okay, here's a banner. You go to the parks and see the bulletin boards, here's a banner. So like, we're
I'll
trying
give you
everything.
there is a local family that has a banner making business. I'll give you their contact info because they made all our banners for Bulldogs and.
Okay, awesome.
If you're looking to support a local Guad business, they
Of
did a
course.
really nice job.
I did make banners for the color run, but unfortunately with the constraints that the maintenance guys had, I couldn't get them to those spots. I wanted them specifically by the welcome to Guadalupe signs at the end of Guadalupe straight on each side, because people pass by those all the time. So that's the goal.
And most of the stuff that goes out bilingual, correct?
It goes by,
Bilingual.
oh, everything has to be bilingual, yeah. So every flyer I make has to be 2 flyers. So
So the banners, how would you do that?
so the banners I did for the color run, I was just testing it out. I just, with this particular company, I just did English, and it was pretty simple. It was like color run and the date and time, but no sentences to read or extra wording. With the banners, I might have to try to do a design where I pre-design it and then have them make the banner so it's split, so that half of the, if it's an 8-foot banner, this section on the 4-foot side is in English, the other side is in Spanish, or maybe, say color running right under it, say color run in Spanish. I'll have to figure that out. That's always a challenge because it's double the work, double the space, double everything.
Put a QR code on that too, right?
So the one thing about banners that I've learned is, depending on what your budget is to try to make banners so that you can reuse them the next time around. So for this particular color run, I was about to put the QR code on it, but if for some reason we don't have subscription to Jotform, which is what I use to do all my forms, or if they go to business or something happens, now I'm stuck with a banner with a QR code that I cannot keep going. The other thing too is that I looked at the calendar and it just happens to be that July 27th next year's on a Sunday. I don't mind doing an event on a Sunday, so I can actually reuse these banners next year by not, I didn't put the word Saturday on there. I put July 27th so that I could reuse them one more year, because as long as the weather doesn't tear them apart. Yeah, yeah, there's always that too, but that doesn't always completely work, because I never want, are you okay? I never want to plan an event so far ahead of time that I don't know if another community member or another organization is planning an event, because as we know in Guadalupe, you don't want to have more than one event happening per day, or at least during that time frame. So
one thing this company did for us, for our Bulldog stuff, is we have a QR code, but the QR code's removable. So they made it where if our QR code changes next year, we just pull it off and put the new one on, but I'll give you their contact info. It was like adhesive, but it was where you could just like peel it off. And we had yard signs made this year, and then we've already taken them down and peeled off the thing, and they stuck on good, so.
Yeah, and another thing you can do, depending on the quality of the banner, is you can have vinyl made to go, let's say, over a date to cover up that date and put a new date. So, it could be like a white long rectangle and it says Saturday, July 27th. And you stick it to your banner on top of the other one. It's more cost. And so I'm trying to be as budget friendly as possible. So I'm trying to think of those different things. I could also just have a vinyl made of the QR code every year if needed to do it the opposite way. There's lots of ways, but my idea is always, how many times can I use this banner? How many years can I use it? So, it's my first go around with a banner, and I kind of just wanted to see what the quality was, and then what my avenues of putting it up, because I still hadn't gotten a solid answer from, codes and different departments on exactly where it could be and how big it could be. But I knew that I needed a banner and I needed it ASAP and I was running out of time. So I was like, okay, let's get these banners made. They're pretty standard size. Todd gave me permission to put one up by the theater. And then the other one got put up at Jack O'Connell so that people using Jack O'Connell knew that's where it was gonna be, which has been a success. Every time I seem to put up a sign at, especially Jack O'Connell, because it's kind of out there on its own. I feel like people go, oh yeah, I saw the banner, I saw the banner, I saw the banner, and so that's
There
helpful.
is a lot of foot traffic out there and
There
not
is.
just football, like. Every single day, there's people playing horseshoes, there's a ton of kids on the playground, a lot more than I thought, like
Yeah,
there's
I saw a
probably
lot of runners too, they do their little.
on that hill.
Yeah.
Thingy, a lot of dog walkers, it's definitely a lot of utilization.
Yeah, so. Anyways, it's all a learning curve here. Yeah.
We've come a long way.
Yes,
from a
we have.
Played basketball in a closet. We're out 3 years ago.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Let's put item number 12, line dancing.
Yeah, so, I had Yolanda from the senior center who, does the free exercise classes for the senior center. Come to me, about like a month and a half ago, and she said, I'd really like to do line dancing again. At some point in time, she had done line dancing. And she wanted to bring it back. And of course, I was like, sure, let's go for it. So we had our first line dancing class on August 12th. And we had 41 people show up. And then we probably had another 10 or 15 people just kind of on the sidelines, supporting. We always have the supporters, and I love that. It's nice to see people come out for other people, even if they're not doing the activity. So that was awesome. I got such great feedback all night long. Again, I forget to mute my phone. People were like, when's the next class? We want the next class. So we quickly checked our schedules and we were able to jump on it and have our next class on Monday of next week at 6:30 here at the auditorium again. And the goal is to probably have about 2 classes a month with that, like a class, a week gap class, gives people a little chance to, breathe on that. It is quite a workout, even if you don't think it, I mean, especially line dancing, there's a lot of like movements and you're not just learning the dance once, you're learning the dance like 5 or 6 times before you put it all together to music. So it was a good little workout. It's definitely like a little Zumba. But we had great feedback and a lot of people writing me going, oh, I'm so bummed I missed it. Are you gonna have it again? So my goal hopefully is that this class, even if it just jumps up like 9 more people, I'd love to see 50 people this time. And as long as people keep coming, we're gonna keep doing it. It's free, costs absolutely nothing. Yolanda's awesome and she's volunteering all her time. So there's 0 cost to the people and 0 cost other than maybe a little electricity to the city.
Well, we gotta get on it. It'll be devoid the water valley crawl here before too long.
Yeah. And yeah, and the interesting thing was that, most people, I think line dancing, they think country. That's normally how I dance it. But she was putting like swing music on and some Latin music and things like that. And the concept of line dancing doesn't have to just be, it's popular probably due to country music, but line dancing is a dance that you can do to practically any music. So that was kind of fun. I think it kind of opened people's eyes and they're like, oh, I could line dance to the music I like. So yeah, it was fun. So you see all those funny little names, but those are just the steps. Not necessarily that the music goes hand in hand with the names. So yeah.
No, that sounds great. It was really nice when you went live on the Parks and Rec page. Because I felt like, or I think it was live, or it was at least a little video.
I did do a quick little live, yeah.
And it was nice because I think people saw that and then they're like, oh man, I missed it next time. But I think they saw people not professionally dancing and felt more confident in their amateur abilities to be like, oh, I could do that. At
every event, I try to go live at least for like a minute so that people can see what it looks like. And if they have any feeling of like, I'm not sure I'll be comfortable there, they can see the environment, they can see the people. It gives them a chance to see how we're set up. And it's Guadalupe, so you can probably be there in 10 minutes if you leave your house right away. So I like to go live, and it creates, like you said, a little bit of that FOMO, like, I don't wanna miss out, or I missed out, I gotta go next time, so that's awesome.
About how many times a month would you think they would have this?
So I'm shooting for that two times a month. We obviously did it twice already in August. The first one was just, is this gonna work? And the second one was, wow, this worked. So I already messaged Yolanda and she was actually messaging me a minute ago, and we're looking at our calendar to try to do 2 times a month. Because of the use of the auditorium for the school district, it's just a little bit of juggling on the schedule just to see what days work best in between that and dropping. But yeah, we're gonna try to stick to that twice a month.
Monday work for you?
It looks like it might be a little bit of conflict for her with the Monday. So I'm gonna, basically whatever works for her schedule, that's what I need to work around, because she's the instructor and I'm not gonna be up there doing the scoot and boogie, you know, it's kind of like for drop-in, like, Joe, does this work for you? You gotta be there, so, we will get that figured out. I'm hoping to get it figured out before Monday's class, so that at Monday's class, I'm handing out a flyer that has the next 2 dates. But we'll figure it out somehow.
That was good. I was trying to convince basketball players about line dancing. You'll have fun.
It could be fun. They could, I was gonna say, they could dribble and, you know, do some footwork. It would definitely give them a workout. I mean, I saw ladies up there sweating, so, you know, it's a good workout.
Dancing is a good workout.
Yeah.
So is the other gymnasium available for you, for this?
It is. I could use the other one. I like using City Hall because there's so much more space. We had that auditorium pretty dang full, and you do need, there has to be space in between every row of people and space in between every person in the row because of the walking you're doing.
And she was on the stage, right?
And yeah, she
too?
was up on the stage, so it gave the whole floor, because when you start, you know, stepping to the right, all of a sudden the person at the end of the line is hitting the wall.
Exactly.
Or when you're stepping back, all of a sudden you're stepping back into the group behind you. So unfortunately, even though the auditorium is pretty large, there were moments where I was like, oh, everyone scoot forward, because now the people in the back are stepping on each other. So
Back, take tiny steps.
yeah. She was.
Zumba at Leroy, it was really hard to follow the instructor when it got busy, because or like a bigger group, because she was down low and wasn't up on the stage.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, oh, that's nice for the auditorium here.
Yeah, that did help. And she brought, I didn't know this, but she brought like 5 dancers with her that she normally instructs at the Elks Lodge, and they've been doing it for quite a few months, so they know the steps pretty well. So they were kind of teaching along with her by doing it while she spoke and told everyone exactly how to do it. So they filled up the whole stage, and then the whole auditorium was pretty full. So yeah. If the group gets a little smaller, which I hope it doesn't, but if it does, then I think Leroy could be an option, because, you know, then we would have more space. So we'll see.
Only growing from here.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Item number 13, skate day events.
Yeah, so we're doing another skate day. It's roller skating at Jack O'Connell. It's planned for this Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. The way it was broken down this time around was from 12 to 1. It's an instructed class. So if you're learning how to roller skate and you haven't done it before and you want to know how to do it, you go from 12 to 1. You must finish signing up by tomorrow. Tomorrow's the cutoff, because she needs to know how many kids are coming and what to prepare for. But they've had well over a month to sign up. So those people will spend the first hour learning how to skate, how to get up, how to, you know, move their feet, how to do all those things, because if all of a sudden you put roller skates on and you've never roller skated before, it's scary. I saw my daughter, she was scared. Her legs were moving very quickly. Again, free roller skates are going to be provided to anybody that needs them, that doesn't have their own. So they'll do the class from 12 to 1, and from 1 to 2 will be open skate, meaning everyone can go on the basketball courts and skate. Although it sounds like a short event, an hour of skating is enough. You're tired, your legs are hurting, it's time to go home. So you know, I think that, we gave it, adequate time. It's worked the last time we did it, we got, 87 people or something like that to come out at the last one. Signed up for the classes, I think we have about 20. And that's not just kids, it's just anybody that wanted to sign up. There's no age restriction on the class. If you don't know how to roller skate and you're 90, you can sign up. You do have to sign a waiver. Yeah, you sign your waiver and you come to class, and it's 1 hour of, you know, time with that instructor. I think there's gonna be 2 instructors. They're showing you, they're helping you, you know, like it's the kind of stuff you go and pay for. So I think that's really awesome that our community gets to have that. And then after that, we have another skate event planned for September 28th. I'm not sure if we're gonna continue to do it after that point, but that will total 3 skate classes. And we're gonna do the exact same format next month. She wants to have the skate class and then the open skate right after. So yeah, come out, enjoy it. All the different events I've talked about, as we've mentioned, are on my Instagram page for the Recreation Commission meeting, or the Recreation Department, excuse me. Facebook page, there's Facebook events for every single event I have all the way going into October already, things that I haven't announced yet, just because I like to get that buzz going. It's also on the website. I'll be adding more flyers to the website tomorrow. And if anybody wants to contact me, they can go to the website. All my information's on there, email, work phone, you can text me. If you write me through Instagram or Facebook, I pretty much write back within an hour or 2, unless it's late at night. So let me know what you need, and let me know if you're coming, and we're more than happy to have you at all our events.
Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions or comments?
I have a question on, Leroy Park, excuse me, Royal Theater. Is the Royal Theater eventually gonna be part of this regular business? Or is it about our purview?
That is something that the city council goes over every city council meeting. But being that it's not part of the recreation department, as of now, and I don't think that it falls under the recreation department, the Royal Theater. I won't be adding it to our agenda for now. But if you do want to see what the latest and greatest plans are, they do.
No, I
have that.
don't know that. I'm just
Oh.
saying it's part in terms of the future, because I'm thinking it's part of Parks and Rec, unless I'm wrong. It's activities that.
So I was talking to Todd about it, and it sounds like there's gonna be an entity that's running it, and so it would almost be like they're leasing the building and they're running it.
Right.
So it's not-
RFP is out.
Yeah, so it's not, I don't think it would be under the
Well,
recreation
no, it'd be
department.
like the Boys and Girls Club, they're under contract with that building, and come here and report what they're doing. I don't know, I probably should ask Todd, I see him once a month anyway, but.
Yeah, you might wanna check with him, because what it sounds like to me is that no,
At
it's not,
this-
but
this moment, anyway.
Yeah. who knows?
Yeah, and then in the future, we could do operating
Yeah,
business.
I could see once it got up and running and there was
Mhm.
programming in
Mhm.
there. I kind of missed. I knew there was the buzz, the potential bond, not a potential bond. I'll look at the thing, and if there's notes out there, I can read them, but could you give us just like a 2-second, like where we're at with it?
So where we're at right now is that they are going to Plan B, which is taking off the second and third story from the backside.
Okay,
And now it's down to the 1 story that you see there.
No outdoor amphitheater.
No outdoor amphitheater at the moment, but like I was told, that can always be added later, you know.
okay,
We still have the land. And yeah, they posted the position for someone to run it and all that, so the ball is still rolling.
nice. Okay, I'll look at the stuff after.
Yeah, it's really an awesome design. Some people are saying that the design is better in ways than the previous design, so.
Less expensive.
Well, less expensive, but just
Right?
but just
Cheaper.
I think what I was hearing was that they're still gonna be offering about the same amount of amenities, in the sense of like what is actually gonna be utilized. Maybe they're like losing a kitchen or something like that, but you know, like the working parts are, you know, you're not losing that part, so. and the building looks really nice. It definitely fits in. I know that someone had mentioned that, the back building that's new doesn't look like the theater. But that's done on purpose because, since it's on the Historical Society list, you can't add to the building and have it look like the original because that's part of the rules. So they still did a really nice contemporary look, but it purposely is supposed to look different.
Do we know how large the theater, the capacity is?
I think it's gonna remain the same.
It's,
They're not increasing.
They're not increasing the seating or the size of the actual theater, and I thought it was
Yeah.
like 100 people.
Not that big.
It's not that big, but the main concern is parking, or at least for the first rendition of the joke, there's like 11 spots.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Yeah, why you?
I was just like, I feel like moving forward, that should be a big concern is where, I mean, we get a nice showing there of some sort. Where's people gonna park? Taken away from, well, that street mainly is a lot of people, it's filled up from the apartments, yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm curious, I'm like, are you gonna take away from businesses surrounding, so it's interesting.
I wonder if down the road, like, there's so much land right there by Taylor Farms, like if they ever paved that, where we could run a little shuttle or something, cause even when the social club has a bigger event, there's like no parking there and. Yeah, I think parking is definitely something people consider with going to events. I do, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, parking.
Yeah, it could be the difference of like, it's not, it's true, you know,
Yeah.
definitely, I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna take it. Let's stay home.
Next month's problem, conquer the
Here, go to the school.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Joe, are we on number 14? Cause I just have,
Oh, you have some?
well, if you wanna go to 14, I do have something.
Okay, we'll go to number 14, if you were.
Okay.
Request comments and meeting reports.
Okay, awesome. So, today I was in a 2-hour meeting, at the senior center for the, and this is probably not the right name, but it's like the senior committee. They used to have a committee for seniors and just making sure that seniors in the community had what they needed before COVID. And then that they couldn't meet anymore and it kind of dissolved. And so the mayor is trying to get it going again. So I went to the meeting today and we had a lady from the master
Plan for aging.
master plan for aging there. And she was kind of reiterating the same information that she already presented at the city council like 2 months ago, something like that. And I gave you all the flyers with the survey. And so the reason I bring this up is because they are trying to get more and more information, more people's opinions, especially in Guadalupe, about being a senior, being a caretaker. You'll see here on this list, it gives you the criteria. It says who should participate. Live in Santa Barbara County is one. Number 2, over the age of 55, or if you're an adult who has a disability. And the third criteria is if you are a family member, friend, or service provider who give care to an older adult or person with a disability. Now, I was told today that's very broad term that I think most of us don't consider here in the community or just in society is almost all of us are caretakers. I help my mom with all sorts of little things and I just feel like I'm her kid, like I'm supposed to help her. She said that that is considered a caretaker. Anytime that you are giving of help to a senior citizen or someone that's disabled, you are in the category of a caretaker. So I think most of us would be able to do this survey, which would be awesome. They're trying to get the voice of people here in Guadalupe. This is an overall survey that they're doing in Santa Barbara County. But based on the addresses we put in, it'll pull up our zip code. And so then they'll be able to try to get that information and then hopefully give it back to our committee and say, hey, this is what people in your area are looking for. So that's why I brought this tonight. I'd love for you to either take the survey if it applies to you or share it with someone that it could apply with, or even take a picture and put it on your social media. it'd be awesome to get that information back, and I gave you the English and Spanish version. I'm going to be receiving them, the digital version in the next couple days. I'm hoping that we can get it up on the city website. The survey only goes to September 8th, so please don't wait. If you're gonna take it, just take it right away. There's a QR code at the bottom and it's a short survey. But we're just trying to get more information so we can do a better job of helping the senior community in this town and making sure that we're meeting their particular needs. More to come on that, but that's just my little piece for tonight. So thank you.
Does, you know, if this is tied into resources that will be forthcoming, if, you know, if they show a need here.
So the idea is that we find out what the needs are, and then we find out how to solve those by getting resources. And then deciding, do we have the seniors come to certain people and say, this is what I need, and then us schedule that or find, not necessarily, I'm not saying like Medicare or something, but like, a need that got brought up today was like, sometimes when the people that take the meals, we used to call it Meals on Wheels in other places, but yeah, that idea where they take it to a senior's home and the senior might say, there's a really bad wind yesterday and my fence fell down. Who could help me with that? I can't put the fence up myself. Like, who could help me put that fence back up? I don't have money to pay someone to put the fence back up, but it just, needs some screws or a new 2x4 or whatever. So those kinds of things, when we find out that that's the need, maybe we have a list of handymen that are like, hey, we'll give of our time. Maybe we have people that do landscaping. Maybe seniors need their lawn mowed or something like that, or maybe they need help cleaning their house or buying groceries. I mean, there's lots of different things that could be a need that we don't really think about. That's kind of, stuff that you and I do every day, but there's seniors out there that can't do it or can't afford to do it. So the main takeaway is first find out what those needs are and then figuring out how to solve them. The master plan for aging, the tools that they're giving us is there's a program through AARP, and the mayor already did the paperwork 2 months ago. And it's basically a plan where, like the first year, the idea is to find out what the needs are, find out what project you're going to work on. And then there's kind of a little guideline of like, okay, so now that you've done that, the next step is this. And so it's not necessarily that they're giving us money or resources that are, monetary value, but they're giving us a plan of how to accomplish a goal. And with them, the goal could be as small as like, we're just going to better our transportation. We already have it, but we're just going to better. We're going to have more stops, or it's more frequent, or whatever. So they said that it doesn't have to be this like crazy big project. It could be something smaller or something that you're just bettering. But their goal is to have more communities be more, was it age friendly?
Yeah.
I think it was called age friendly.
I know there was an AARP grant this last month, and I think it comes up every quarter. I want to say it was like 25,000 or something, but once we have a better idea of what the seniors want, we can definitely put something together. One thing I was kind of thinking about is that I know internet's super expensive, computers, it can be really overwhelming, but there's definitely a need, and I even think an interest within some seniors to want to have some connection to technology, whether that's to keep up with their grandkids or whatever that might be. Maybe something we could think about is, like a little mini, like couple computers in the senior center where they're not having to pay for their own internet, but they would have that accessibility piece. That was one potential thing that came to mind, but obviously wait till we get the feedback from what the community wants. But I think there's a lot of things that we could do to enhance quality of life. And if we apply for that AARP grant already using their model, I think we'd be probably pretty competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's more to come on it. And today was just kind of like one of the many beginning steps. But it's definitely important, and the seniors in this community are important to us. And so our goal is to do a better job at taking care of them and taking care of their needs. So
That meeting that was today, was that advertised, like, for everybody that's
Um,
interested?
It was a senior, it's a committee that is being made, and so I think specific people were invited. I'm not sure if moving forward, that's gonna be different. Maybe this was just the stepping stone. If you wanna reach out to the mayor, he'd probably have more information on that because he's the one that organized it and is kind of taking the reins on it. And I think he also used to do it before COVID, so.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, so, I don't know all the processes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you very much for this. Good. We're at item number 15. Adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
I was trying to drown it out. Approval, we have a second, we need it, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, this meeting now adjourned, we thank you for inviting us to your home again.
Thank you, folks. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Excellent.